Hi, and welcome to 10 Days to Greater Creativity. Are you failing a creative test every day? You might be and not even know it. What do I mean? Well, one of the things when I give creativity workshops that I find out is people say that they can't be creative. They're in an environment that's very uncreative. The people around them aren't very inspiring. And I'm just going to ask you if possibly you could be contributing to that. You could be taking a creativity test every day that other people are giving you, and you could be failing. Well, what do I mean? Well, you might know that in your workplace or school that there are people that steal ideas and there are people that love to shoot ideas down. I'm not talking about that because if you're one of the people doing that, then it's very obvious why people are not going to be creative around you. They have no incentive to if you're just there to borrow their ideas or just there to make them feel little and put them in their place. What I'm talking about instead is a creativity test where people try to judge, do you really want to hear what they have to say? Are you really interested in their creativity or just want to make an opening so that you can share your creativity? So are you really asking for what their ideas are or just trying to open the doorway so you can just share yours and how yours are better than theirs? So what are some ways that people test you and see whether you really want them to be creative around you? Well, I like to think of it as creative hide and seek. And if you've ever played hide and seek as a kid, you know that there were certain things that you could do during hide and seek to have people try to find you. Now, the first thing that you might do is you might give a peek, let them get a glance of you, whether it's calling out or just something small. And I like to think that people do that too in their creativity. They might not give you a full idea when you ask for it, but they might give you a peek, a tip of the iceberg, just something small, just to see how you'll react. And your first reaction might be, is that it? That's the best you can come up with? And if that's your reaction, they're not going to give you more. True, they might not have more because some people, when you put them on the spot, cannot come up with an idea just right then and there. But they might come up with the start of one. So how do you do with this peek? Whether it's just giving you a glance of an idea that there might be more there, or whether it's just something that they give you a little bit, but they need more time to come up with a little bit more of what you're asking. Well, you can very simply say, I'm really interested in what you have to say. Can you tell me a little bit more later? Let me think about it, and do you want to get together later? Now, if they don't want to get together later, that might be an indication that, hey, that was it. That's all they have. But if they do want to get together later, then you might get more than what you expect. And you might be able to collaborate together if there isn't a big idea and flesh it out. So it's something that you have to keep in mind that maybe people are just testing you a little bit to see, do you really want to know what I think? Now, the other thing that I think about with creativity in hide and seek is that there are the people that will give you everything, everything but the kitchen sink. It's sort of like a yard sale spread out, and you kind of have to go through everything, the good and the bad, the ugly, and figure out what idea it was that they're really trying to give you. It's a lot of work. And you might not be patient enough or think that I really didn't want this. You know, there's such a thing as too much. And this is also another creativity test because some people only want an answer that fits in with what they want the right answer to be, that fits in with their ideas. So by giving somebody more than what they asked for, and certainly a lot of it junk, they're going to test you to see, can you find the good ideas that are in there? Do you really, really, really want to know what they're thinking? Well, rather than have to go through every single idea and figure out, is this the one that they wanted you to find? You can ask them, point out, well, those are a lot of good ideas and I thank you for sharing so much with me. Well, which ones are the ones you like best and why? Now, this isn't to put somebody on the defensive, but it is to be authentic and say, I need some help here to figure out what it is you really want me to find. You might have some ideas that you prefer, and it would be very easy to jump onto those and immediately pick them out. But I'm going to encourage you to try to take the longer route and really find out which idea was it that they liked. Because this is, again, another test of creativity. Are you passing the test that they're giving you? So another way to play creative hide and seek is the diversion. Now, if you're playing hide and seek and you make some noise over on the other side, or just kind of rattle the bushes to try to let them know that you're there, it can be done, this creativity test, one-on-one with somebody as well. And what do I mean? Well, if you've asked for an idea, asked for them for something creative, they may give it to you, but they may not give it to you in the way that you expect. They might give it to you as an aside. Well, if I had $1 million, I'd do this. And you'd laugh it off and just go on your way and think that they didn't have any good ideas. Or they might make a joke about it and just say, well, I'd really like to do this or this or this, but I know we can't. And so they're busy shooting down their own ideas before you get the chance. These diversions are important to recognize because they may have some really good ideas, but they kind of need you to back them up, to give them some confidence, to say, maybe that is an idea that we could scale up or down or across. Let's talk about it some more. So the diversion, the joke or the aside, is something that you take seriously because you really do want to take that person seriously and not just instantly dismiss what they have to say. It might be a joke, but let's take the chance and see if a creative idea was given to you just to see if you could pass the test and take it seriously. Now, one of the other things for creative hide and seek that you might not have thought about is a question. When you ask somebody, hey, what do you think about this idea? And they ask you, well, I need more details. Can you tell me what's our time frame, or how big an idea is it, or how much is our budget? They can ask all kinds of questions, and you can be kind of put off by it because you're thinking, that person's stalling. They don't have any ideas. No, that might not be the case. They might be giving you a question, but the question you're not hearing is, are you really sure you want my idea? Are you really looking for what I have to contribute? So again, this is something that you don't instantly dismiss. This is something that you step up and you say, yeah, I'd like to hear more. I'll answer your questions for you. Maybe we can work on it together. So you haven't really instantly written that person off, and that's important. A person needs to know that they can have some time to be creative, that they don't have to be creative on the spot, solve your problem right away, because let's be honest, a lot of times we want to solve the problems ourselves. We don't want somebody else to give us the idea. We just want them to give us the inspiration or the backing for our idea. And so if you really want to pass the creative test and you really want other people to be creative around you, you've got to encourage it. You've got to be permissive. You've got to be leading. This doesn't mean that if you're very encouraging to other people that they're automatically going to be the same to you, but it does mean that you start to create a culture where creativity is allowed, that it is taken seriously, that it is something that you recognize takes a little bit of work, that the great genius ideas don't always come right when you need them, that you do have to get together with people. You do have to do some creative hide and seek yourself. So my encouragement is, Look for the creativity test and how you are passing or failing it. And I think if you give other people a chance to be creative, it certainly opens up that permission and that confidence in yourself. And that's the first way that I would recommend that you would be more creative, is to let other people be creative first. Thank you. And I look forward to sharing more with you in the next broadcast.